you. Now you have this clean $23 vertical laptop stand. Now, if you're worried about airflow, there are some laptops out there that are obviously not designed to be closed while running full tilt, and if it's sucking in air from the keyboard, then don't do this. But most devices out there tend to have airflow that comes in from the side and out the back, or vice versa, and those will run great on this laptop stand. The Alienware display I swapped out for something a lot cleaner. This one's from LG. It's freaking fantastic. It's a 4K panel, 27 inches, but it runs at 60 Hertz, so it's obviously not designed for super hardcore, high refresh gaming, but it's actually one of my favorite panels on the market right now. It's really color accurate right out of the box, and it's got USB-C support, so if you have any laptops that can charge via USB-C, it's a single cable that runs the whole setup. It also has built-in speakers that actually sound pretty good. They're not going to replace studio monitors or anything like that, but if you just want audio that's cleaner and louder than your laptop speakers, but without all the wires of power cables and proper speakers, these are really good for that. And there's also a cheaper version of this display, so it doesn't have the USB-C feature and also does not have speakers. I think it's like $100 less, which is pretty significant considering what you're losing there, but the display panel is the exact same display, and all of those models support FreeSync for gamers. Now, there's one thing about this monitor that kind of bugs me. The marketing material and on their website indicates this HDR10 feature, and it's a little bit misleading. It's more of an HDR10 experience. It's not HDR10 certified. It doesn't have a 10-bit panel. It's not bright enough for true theater level HDR. It comes in at 450 nits, but it is compatible with an HDR input. It'll accept an HDR10 signal and it'll display it better than a lot of other panels because it is super color accurate, but it's not an HDR10 certified panel. It's just a little bit misleading of marketing, but it's a really good display for the money. My only other complaint is that the speaker volume on MacBooks, you have to adjust it using the joystick on the front of the monitor. You can't adjust it using your keyboard keys. Okay, let's talk about the lamp. I normally don't like desk lamps. I find them usually quite ugly, but I saw this lamp in an Instagram picture and it took me a while to figure out who made it. And it turns out it's from Xiaomi, the company that makes smartphones and laptops. They make a lamp. So this thing's this LED lamp. It looks really clean, really minimal, and it's got this red flat rubber cable in the back that looks super clean. I don't love the color. I'm probably gonna plasti dip it or use some kind of nail polish to turn it blue, but it's just a really good looking lamp. Now, there's an app to this lamp, so it actually has this program that you can download from the Google Store to change the color temperature and stuff, but I was about to download it and there's no way I'm installing this app. It needs access to way too much stuff, like your freaking contact list and location. It's just, there's no way I'm gonna install this on my phone. So yeah, for all intents and purposes, this lamp does not have the ability to change color temperature unless you have huge balls. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is this headphone stand. This thing is $9. It's super cheap, but it's another 4.5-star product on Amazon. It's very lightweight. I wish it was a little bit heavier, but it's sturdy enough for what I want it to do, and it looks clean while getting the job done. Now, there's another version of this made by the same company that also has a wireless charger. I tried that thing. I do not recommend it. The wireless charger is terrible, and I think the shape of that thing is just not as nice looking, so the cheaper one is better in my books. Now, to round this thing off, we have my wireless mouse of choice, the MX Master 2S. You've seen this mouse a lot in my videos. It's an excellent wireless mouse. And we also have the Drivo keyboard. So this thing is called I think it's called the Caliber. That's the name of it. And it's just a really good keyboard. It's really inexpensive. It's like 65, 70 bucks. This is running blue switches. They aren't cherry switches, they're Otemu switches. Feel slightly different from cherry blues, but still a really good switch. And just the keyboard is wireless and mechanical with RGB lighting. There's so much I like about this thing. And it's a very clean aesthetic with no branding or anything like that. Like most of the cheap Amazon keyboards that have good switches and stuff have some kind of obnoxious branding. this is super clean to go with my super clean setup. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. I'll see you guys next time.
Have you ever looked at something, immediately wanted it, and then found out that for some reason you can't have it? Well, that was the experience that I had with this, the LG Ultra PC. On the surface, it looks kind of like an LG Gram, which I love, but with a little bit more weight and a lot more performance. Only one small problem. It turns out that you can't get this thing outside of Korea. The South Korea, to be precise. And I mean, look at this. Look at this amazing promotional video that's...
고성능을 가볍게 즐기다. LG 울트라 PC GT.
Only 6 seconds long for some reason. Anyway, fortunately, if you are annoying enough and persistent enough, I've often found that you can get what you want eventually. And it works for more than just wedding proposals. This is the LG Ultra PC, a laptop that has never before been seen outside of its homeland. And the video about it is brought to you by Mack Weldon. Mack Weldon makes high quality clothing, be it t-shirts, underwear. See that right there? Mack Weldon underwear. My cat scratched me. Mack Weldon can do nothing to protect you from cat scratches if it's not, actually where the underwear is. Anyway, my talking points are not actually on there. So they make underwear, t-shirts, socks, wallets, and more. And you can check them out using offer code TECHTIPS to save 20% at the link in the video description. I mean, realistically, if there were instructions for how to open the box, they weren't going to be in English, so. Let's open this baby up. Instructions unclear. Got bag stuck on head of a baby. All right. Okay, so if you're into that sort of thing, LG includes a nice little man satchel. It's probably cooler in Korea than it is here. Yep. All right. So aside from the actually pretty good feeling and presumably stylish carry bag and a power adapter, pretty much the only thing in the box is the Ultra PC itself. And it looks pretty much exactly like I expected. It's a big fat gram. Overall, it's not that heavy for a 15-inch model. It's about 2 centimeters thick at its thickest point. So again, not unreasonably thick. And in terms of build quality, honestly, it's kind of hard to describe it because it does feel, in some places, pretty nice. But then that's definitely more keyboard flex than we'd like to see. And this is something that has been an ongoing critique of ours about LG's notebooks. I/O-wise, it's reasonable, but not exceptional. So you got your HDMI, headphone, micro SD, USB, a couple USB 3s, a Type-C USB 3, not Thunderbolt, and Gigabit Ethernet. Let's fire this thing up, shall we? Boop. Is that their slogan in Korea?
Hi there, I'm Cortana, and I'm here to help. A little sign in here, a touch of Wi-Fi there, and we'll have your PC ready for all you plan to do. And if you'd like me to stay quiet, you can just mute your PC. If you need an assistive screen reader, press the...
Why is this in English? Why does it take so long? Like, what is the point of preloading all of this stuff? So it asks me what region, but it asks me in English. It's weird. This looks like a bog standard US layout keyboard, just with alternate Korean characters on it. No, I don't want to make Cortana my personal assistant. Under the hood, there's a couple of things about the specs that stood out to us. It's got an 8550U, so that's a quad-core, low-power processor, 8 gigs of RAM, though it depends what SKU you get as always, 240 gig SSD, 500 gig hard drive, and the big one was that it comes with a GeForce GTX 1050. So what we were hoping for was with that low power processor, but a discrete graphics card in a larger clamshell, was a nice balance of battery life, performance, and even the ability to game a little bit. Hopefully at a decent price. Let's start. Let's do that. Okay, so first step is to jump on Ninite and get all our stuff set up, and we will be right back. Even LG's own software on here is like in English. Mind you, I did install English Windows. Cortana, I told you no. I just told you no. So these are just Control and Alt. So instead of just labeling both of them twice, they just hedged their bets. They figured, well, they'll infer from this Control and Alt that that's also Control and Alt and vice versa. The only Korean-only software on here is their support number. So we've got all our software loaded up now, and one of the first things that we do anytime a notebook hits our lab is slap it with a stress test. So stress FPU, hit that. And almost immediately, we noticed something really interesting about this particular model. It detects that it is thermal throttling, and in fact, its clock speed does get reduced, but the CPU is only sitting at about 60 high to 70 low degrees on each of the individual cores. So it would appear as though the T-junction temperature was misconfigured by the manufacturer. Now, their intent may have been to allow the CPU to burst up during light loads, but still not pass a bunch of heat through to the user when it's under a long, strenuous load. But this does seem like a fairly extreme approach, if that was their intent. You know, overall, it really is a testament to how far entry-level / mainstream graphics cards have come that you can play Doom on a machine like this with a GTX 1050 and have not a bad experience. Like, I'm running it at high and I'm seeing dips down to below 30 FPS, but like, it's very playable. Especially considering the fairly assy speakers on the Gram. The speakers are not bad, and I still maintain that at laptop screen sizes, 1080p resolution is adequately sufficient, though it would be nice if it was a touchscreen. Enough of that, let's take it apart. So poking around in here, there are a couple of takeaways. Number one is that I'm a little confused as to why LG felt the need to have the CPU thermal throttle, which supports our hypothesis that that was sort of an accident, because the two heat pipes connected to the CPU actually go to both of these heat exchangers here. You can see our GPU over here, upgradable RAM, so we've got 2 SODIMM slots, one of which is empty on our 8 gig model, but that would be a nice and easy upgrade. And actually, overall upgradability of this device is pretty good. You've got an M.2 slot here, that one is populated, and then you've also got room for a 2.5-inch hard drive, which is also populated, but you could swap those out for something else should you desire. Moving on to the battery, we've got a respectable 60 watt hours that did give us about 4 hours in our standard battery test, but I did feel a little disappointed by this just because LG has built such a brand identity for themselves on the Gram side of things around having these massive capacity batteries in these thin and light devices. And this one just didn't meet my expectations there. And there are a handful of other complaints that I have about it as well. First of all, the keyboard is crap. There are two major problems with it. One, there's a nice tactile bump, but the actuation point is pretty much at the bottom of the stroke. And two, the chassis just isn't stiff enough around my right hand. Like, it's noticeably more flexible compared to my left, causing me to regularly miss keystrokes in like this whole half of the keyboard here. Now, to be clear, it's not the worst keyboard I've ever used, but I would put it below, say, a Dell Inspiron. The trackpad is good enough. No issues, but it also didn't wow me, and it's pretty small by today's standards, so it gets a fine out of amazing. And honestly, that's not a bad summary of this device as a whole. Everything from the performance, to the bezels, to the webcam is fine. Except for one big problem, the pricing. So if you're part of the 0.3% of our audience that is in South Korea, it's actually not a terrible option. But if, like us, you were hoping that this would be something like the Xiaomi Notebook Pro, which wasn't the best laptop we'd ever seen, but was priced well enough to be worth the hassle of getting it here from China, then you're in for a rude awakening. Due to South Korea's fairly harsh import regulations and taxes, Samsung and LG don't need to be quite as competitive in their home market. So this laptop at $1,600 would be up against much more premium competitors outside of South Korea. Another example of this is the Samsung Galaxy S8, a phone that may have actually been made in South Korea, but that costs $130 more to buy there. Hooray for oligopolies. But it's not a huge loss, because even if LG was to bring the Ultra PC to the rest of the world, which they've said they have no plans to do, the value proposition wouldn't be amazing. With a couple more generations of improvement, particularly to the stiffness of the chassis and to the keyboard, LG may be in a position where, with the right pricing, they could expand their notebook line internationally though. So let's see if they do it. Speaking of seeing, now's the time to see the link in the video description to Dollar Shave Club. Dollar Shave Club is more than just razors, and they make it easy for you to upgrade your shave and your bathroom. You no longer have to step foot in a store to get a high quality shave and great grooming products delivered right to your door. And for a limited time, Dollar Shave Club is basically giving away their shower shave starter set to new members for only $5. It features their executive razor and 3 trial-sized versions of their most popular products to help you stay fresh and clean. So you'll get their shave butter, their body wash, and their One Wipe Charlie's butt wipes. A full cassette of cartridges is included, and then after the first box, replacement cartridges for the razor are sent for just a few bucks a month. This offer is exclusively available at dollarshaveclub.com/Linus. We're gonna have that linked below. So thanks for watching, guys. If you disliked this video, you can hit that button. But if you liked it, hit like, get subscribed, or maybe consider checking out where to buy the stuff we featured. Maybe we'll just have like a comparable laptop that's like cheaper down there at the link in the video description. Also linked down there is our merch store, which has cool shirts like this one, and our community forum, which you should totally join. Over the last few years, there's been a, let's call it a trend among computer enthusiasts to no longer use protection. And I've definitely changed my habits as well. And for every day, that might seem okay, but you get outside your comfort zone every now and then, you know? You go someplace you've never been before, or someone you don't know messes with someplace that you used to be comfortable in, and before you know it, you're lost and alone, and everybody wants your bits. Which is why Bitdefender reached out to sponsor this video about their security software and the role that security solutions play in 2018. In fact, they're so confident about their role that they've got something planned for the end of this video. Spoiler alert, It's a Okay, so first things first, why Bitdefender? I'm pretty sure that I'm on the record saying that I don't use antivirus software on my personal machine anymore. I mean, it's not that I don't care about my security. I do use security software here at work. We've got a site-wide license, and I do use it on relatives and friends' machines. It's just that for myself, I found that common sense and reasonable precautions are good for most things. And then what I'll do is I'll just roll out a sacrificial virtual machine when I need to do something a little sketchy. Like let's say I need an ISO for an old version of Windows or something. Although that is horribly inconvenient for most people. And Anthony, who actually worked on writing this video, has seen plenty of cocky folks like me taken down a peg at his old PC repair job where they recommended Bitdefender. And on that subject, the channel you're watching right now was actually hijacked when I clicked on something I shouldn't have, got a keylogger, and they took away the account. That happened probably about 6 or 7 years ago. So this is one of those do as I say, not as I do types of things. Anyway, hot off winning Product of the Year and consistently being at the top for security, Bitdefender came to us with a challenge. Break our protection. Clearly they don't know who they're dealing with. But before we go about testing that, let's break down some of those reasonable precautions that you and everyone you know should be implementing regardless to prevent your data from getting lost via an infection or worse. First of all, keep local backups, and RAID is not a backup, of all critical data. This lets you get back up and running more quickly in the case of a drive crash. Or if you get hit by ransomware, which yes, is still going strong, not to mention is getting more sophisticated all the time. As it happens, Bitdefender can actually protect important folders wholesale and behaviorally protects everything else against even 0 days that haven't been patched yet. And this is before the malware has a chance to encrypt anything. So this at minimum saves you from having to restore from your backups, and at worst, having to pay a ransom to maybe, if they actually go through with their word, I mean, remember, these are not the most up and up folks, to maybe get your college thesis or your vacation photos back. None of that, though, will save you if the building is on fire, so you should also keep an off-site backup. These days, cloud storage services dominate this space, but you can also accomplish this by just keeping a backup drive in a separate building, like a friend's or your parents' house. Now, back to that common sense theory of personal cybersecurity. That essentially boils down to 3 important points. 1, keep everything up to date. At minimum, stay on top of your security updates. Number 2, keep your stock protection enabled. This acts as a better than nothing last line of defense once something is on your PC, which brings us to 3, don't download stupid stuff. But, I mean, stupid's not really a fair word for it, because as easy or common sense as some of these things might be for you, it's not necessarily common sense to people who don't live and breathe tech every day. And furthermore, it's not that uncommon for popular websites to become targets of poisoning attempts by hackers. And we've actually had, additionally, some very convincing phishing scams roll into our inboxes that appeared to be internal mail from other people who work here. And these are both things that Bitdefender offers proactive protection against. I mean, I'm sure that you guys all know someone, you know who they are, who downloads anything with a shiny button. So why don't we go ahead and watch the rest of this video from that perspective. So Anthony has provided me with a handy dandy list of skeezy sites that I can visit. And I've got a virtual machine that is protected by Bitdefender up here. My mandate is to go to all of these sites, follow any link that crosses my path, and click on basically every ad. Also, I'll be installing some apps, just clicking next through the installers without checking to see what they're putting on my system. if my sister's watching. Basically, I'm channeling you. All right, so right now we're not in autopilot, so it's gonna give me notifications for pretty much everything that happens. This is total security, so this is their top of the line anti-bad stuff protection. It's been a long time since I've gone to a sketchy site. What the heck is this? Steve Mike Fireforce.info. Weird. Yeah, no, our internet's working. Oh, I wonder if that one's down. dbsa-dream.com. To be very clear, we're not recommending you go any of these places. Bitdefender blocked this page. Oh, so is it actually blocking content from the page too?
It could be, yeah.
Huh, all right. Laro Dimas. How are these not loading? So even my browser doesn't like this one. You know what? Why was I using Chrome in the first place? Huh. Anthony, none of these pages are working. Wait, oh, it's a sketchy redirect. Maybe these are some friends that I can talk to. Oh, I won, because there's no real domains now. Oh, better pixelate that. Anthony, were you browsing these sites at work? I gotta find some stuff to download here. That sounds pretty sketchy. Is this one down too? SkewaWill.com. Visit the site. Oh, these sites are so slow. All right, we found some of them that are still up. So I think I would like some free video game. What is when.com? Yeah, our Zoom driver update, that sounds pretty good. Meanwhile, let's go to Cinehi.com. This looks perfectly legitimate. It's just running off YouTube. Activate your free account. 256-bit SSL encryption. You are safe. I don't have like a fake credit card to give them. Yeah, sure, here we go. 50 euros a month. Yeah, no. Driversupport.exe, that seems good. Yeah. Okay, with active optimization. Okay, well, while that's running, let's find some other stuff. Here's an ad for Adobe. This looks like it may actually be a real thing. Is Torch bad? It's out there, okay. What do I care who the publisher is? Yes. The ultimate best sites to watch free movies. Okay, so that game just didn't seem to actually do anything. Active optimization. Do I have to actually buy something to get infected by this? Oh my God, we need something. A registry optimizer. Quick, easy, and safe. Start scan. 24 items repaired. What does that even mean? Nothing. Free make video converter. Yes, install all the things. Google Docs for Dummies. These aren't even downloads. These are just like stupid clickbait lists. Okay, so this is just junkware. Oh, hey! Something finally tried to screw us. Free make video downloader tried to make a change to a file in a protected folder and was blocked. And the program crashed. So we found out why it seemed like it was impossible to infect the computer. We went into the notifications for Bitdefender and it's blocking the sites with malware on them. And in the warnings tab, we've got the junk that we just installed. So I guess if something falls into the phishing, fraud, or malware category, then it's insta-blocked. And if it's potentially unwanted and not malicious, it just warns you about it. Okay. No, maybe I'll just turn it off for a little bit. Is there a way to turn it off? Here we go. All right. All right. Advanced threat defense. Off. 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 Okay. Come on. Yes, we are providing all the administrative access. You need permit? No, threat moved to quarantine. How did it do that? How did it do that? I want to get jiggy with some infected pages here. Run. I'm trying so hard to install garbage. Sheesh. Detected threat is being disinfected. Even if I try and turn it off, it's still working. So overall, we found this exercise both frustrating, but then also reassuring because initially I thought it was basically impossible to infect a computer these days. No matter what kind of websites we tried to go to or what we tried to click on, it had been quietly keeping us from actually getting infected with anything. They've got a couple of different modes, so they've got both a game mode and a movie mode, which you can check out in the dashboard, and they have been found consistently to have among the best detection rates in the industry, according to AV Comparatives and AV Test. So, there you go, guys. Most of us, like me and Anthony and you, the one who's watching this, are not gonna do this kind of thing on a daily basis, although, you know, probably more often than we might like to admit, we do end up on somewhat sketchy websites, but we all know someone who does frequent free TV sites or, you know, registry repair application sites and does fall for online scams, and that's where Bitdefender really comes into its own, because you can install it for them and then not have to deal with the fallout, you know, 3 or 6 months down the line. And speaking of 6 months, as luck would have it, exclusively for our viewers, Bitdefender is giving away a 6-month subscription for new users. So give it a try. And if you're the family tech support guru, maybe don't install it on your own PC necessarily. Install it on a loved one's computer, set it on autopilot, and then reduce the number of support calls that you have to deal with. So thanks for watching, guys. If you disliked this video, you can hit that button. But if you liked it, hit like, get subscribed, or maybe consider checking out where to buy the stuff we featured. That is, of course, Bitdefender, at the link in the video description. Also down there is our merch store, which has cool shirts like this one, and our community forum, which you should totally join. Now you might think that when you delete a file, or especially if you format or wipe an entire drive, whether it's a hard drive or an SSD like this one, that data is just gone. But in actuality, if you were to properly delete every single file that you deleted from your computer, it would bear a significant cost, both in terms of time, because you would have to actually take time out of your drive's busy schedule running your OS or your games or whatever else to write ones or zeros to that entire portion of the drive, and in terms of durability, especially with SSDs, which only have a finite number of times that they can be written. So the way this actually works is either in the MBR or GPT, which is the GYD partition table, the entry for the file gets deleted, but the actual data stays until it's incidentally overwritten. So what that means is if you were ever going to recycle a computer drive, or if you were gonna give a computer away to a friend, you need to make sure that all of your selfies, and I really do mean all of them, have been properly deleted from your machine. And that, excuse me, is where today's product comes in. This is the Red Key USB, which allows you to quickly and easily wipe any computer. And also, we'll probably be showing you guys a free way to do this, because this is sort of unnecessary, but free-ish. All right. And this video is brought to you guys by the Trident Z Royal series of RGB memory from G.Skill. This stuff features a polished aluminum heat spreader and this really cool crystalline structure on the top that allows the RGB lighting to come through in a way that is absolutely flashy. You can check it out at the link in the video description. So let's start by taking a look at what's in here.
So supposedly we should just plug this in and it'll give us its own little screen and it'll start wiping.
So this is actually the original Red Key USB. It's funny. I don't know what to make of this guy. So it's a Kickstarter that did apparently deliver to its backers. Really, really small campaign. I think they only raised, what, like $11,000 or something like that. And then the site is now down, in spite of the fact that the only instructions I can find for how to update, and your Red Key includes lifetime updates, are going to their site and downloading the latest updates, although they're working on an online updater for the new one, but then the site doesn't work at all, so I don't know how their online updater is going to work. Anyway, they've got a new campaign that actually ends in like 36 hours. It just took us this long to get to this. I don't know where I'm going with this. Let's just screw it. Let's try it. What is this?
I guess just for packaging, keep it.
Oh, just to keep it in there?
Yeah.
So the blue key is nothing. This is just a 16 gig key. So actually, you know what? Jake can use this one to make like our free version?
Well, about that, I was thinking about using a tool called dban, but I found out that's only for hard drives. And then I was looking for a free SSD alternative, and it doesn't really seem like there's a lot unless you just get the tool from your SSD's manufacturer. Like Corsair has a tool, Samsung has a tool, Kingston has a tool, but it's not showing up. With those tools, you can secure erase. And then there's also in Windows, if you just reset, like you can show them right now, it'll give you the option to securely reset the PC, which we assume is a similar kind of tool. So maybe we should try that out. Keep my files, remove everything.
Try right
Click
now.
that.
Let's do it.
Well, we got an extra drive here, so. See, remove files and clean the drive.
It's gonna take a few hours. This won't take long. You're sending me real mixed messages here, Windows.
Oh God, we're just doing it?
I thought we were.
No,
You told me to do it.
I guess so, we're doing it, it's fine. We have an extra drive to try this.
Well, now we have to let this run.
Yeah. Well, it's actually doing something now.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so now while this one continues to run, I think we're probably at like 10% now or something. I don't know. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try our red key on our second test bench. So you can see here, we've got our pictures, including the ones we don't want anyone to see. And we're just gonna shut the system down. We're gonna pop this in here.
Why are they so hairy, David?
Because grown men have hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Find out one day.
Oh. Wow. You know, just because you can grow a nice beard, David, not everyone can do that. Voice crack, damn it.
Do you remember what their key is? F2? F11?
Delete.
EVGAs? No, I just want the boot menu. Okay, well it would have been F8 then, but I think I'm already gonna go into the BIOS. Hey, got it. All right. So I'm gonna go with non-UEFI. Probably.
Yeah.
I think it restarted.
Oh,
No,
it's
there we
doing its
go.
thing.
Okay, loading, please wait. Okay, here we go. Oh God, okay. Warning, this device will erase the contents of any disk detected. Wipe will commence automatically after 60 seconds. That's actually pretty handy.
Yeah, you can
Like-
click F1 and start now.
I'm gonna reset
Wait, should
the
we,
timer.
should we see the advanced menu?
Yeah, I
Let's
think
go
we should.
F6.
So if you remember the keys, or if you have the manual nearby, then
Look, we don't have much time.
you
left.
actually don't need the GUI. Where is it? Do they actually not just have all this in here?
We're running out of time here.
Here it is. Check that out. Main screen, wiping screen. You may hear audio beeps during the last 10 seconds of the countdown timer if your computer has a built-in speaker. Okay. F6 advanced. Boop. Will erase the contents of any disk detected. Method random, scramble. Okay.
Oh, it's got like government standards.
That's pretty cool.
Department of Defense.
Gutmann. 7 random pass method. Dang. 33 random pass method. That's the like, yeah, data.
Zeroing. Let's do zero.
Well, random's the default.
Okay, we'll do randoming.
All right.
One round. Should we just go back and then click start?
Let's go back. Let's do the default. Let's do the default.
F3.
F3. Cancel. Oh.
Damn it.
That's
Okay,
weird.
I got you. Oh, you got it. Never mind. So I guess we should wait so we can hear the beeps, hey?
And we're back.
We said with 10 seconds remaining.
Oh, really?
Do we want to wait the 35 seconds?
Yeah.
I want to experience this.
I don't think this has a speaker built in. Yeah, it's not going to do it. There's a speaker header right here.
Okay, I started.
Okay, so queued disks. It found our disk. And remaining time, 2.5 hours.
Oh,
Cool.
it's a good thing we used a 1 terabyte drive for this one.
Good thing we did one pass. Pretty cool.
3 o'clock, okay. It'll be done just before the end of the day.
Why don't we go do the Smart Your Garage Door video then?
Whoa!
So we're back. Our data is wiped. We can remove the red key and power off the machine.
So we need to put this SSD in a computer and see if there's any data on it still.
Yes.
Recup, is it actually free?
The free version is free. All right, what sort of files are we trying to recover? I mean, we're specifically looking for pictures, which will be a much faster scan. Yes, we could search for, do you want to search for all?
Yeah, let's search for all.
It's gonna take a long time. Yeah, this drive is blank AF, so we're probably gonna have to make a partition and stuff, yeah. Yeah, there we go. No files were found. Would you like to scan again with deep scan enabled? No, this can take over an hour on a large drive.
Well, it's not that large of a drive.
Okay.
23 files found.
Oh, interesting.
This device irrecoverably destroys data, so we should not be able to find anything. What if that's just like the boot record stuff?
Yeah, it seems likely, because it's also at 0%.
So we might just have to leave that. Should we check the Windows thing then?
Yeah.
That's gonna take a little longer to scan, I reckon.
Well, let's throw it on my computer. Oh, this might not actually be plugged in.
Moderately
Oh,
important.
there's your problem.
You know, he does this professionally.
So our first drive, the one that we hit with the red key, that one's over there, and we're trying to see if we can find any remnants of data on it. Then we grabbed the other one that we used the Windows tool on, and we're gonna go ahead and see if, I don't know, we can find, I mean, I guess specifically those pictures. We're just gonna deep scan it right off the bat here.
For photos, or did you just do any files?
Any files, any files.
We're gonna get a lot of files.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we're
we'll
gonna
come
have
back
a
in an
list
hour
of
and see what we found.
100,000 files.
Yeah, but we know what they're called.
Okay, sure.
We're
sure.
looking for the nudes folder.
We're looking for the nudes folder, all right.
7 hours later, we are finally done. So this one actually went quite quickly, and it found a fair number of things that were either partially or fully overwritten, but were still here. With that said, our photos are not. Pretty much everything here is like some kind of Windows junk. Like it's all from the Windows folder. For an average person, this seems fine, but it also assumes that your computer is still functioning, which is where the red key comes in. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was actually expecting to kind of trash on this, because I was like, what, 45 bucks for a USB key? Like what are you know, there's free utilities, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, there are utilities out there, but one of the ones that we found that was somewhat feature comparable was $10, and then you have to provide your own USB drive, and this one is, like, it's just dead simple to use. So here's our result from the 1 terabyte drive. We did actually manage to find 7 files.
What even are they?
I don't know, they're something.flvs, and they are apparently excellent status, so like we can go ahead and try to recover one of them, but I can pretty much guarantee this is garbage. Let's go ahead. So do we have anything that can read a flash video? Cannot render the file.
How big is the file?
600 megs?
Apparently,
but
it
like,
could also just be recognizing random numbers as an FLV.
I don't even think I had any FLVs on that drive. Yeah, no, this is broken. I think this is just garbage.
And that's only one pass.
And that's only one pass. So like, bottom line then, looks pretty good to me.
If you have to do it a lot, I mean.
Should we use it on James? Yeah, should we just like go around and wipe everyone's computers?
I think that would be quite the waste of money.
We're actually ending up with, I think, a recommendation here.
Yeah.
For like 45 bucks, if you do more than just a little bit of secure data erasing,
you might have to buy a couple.
I mean, yeah, there's gonna be command line utilities that you can use to do this sort of thing, but this is easy enough to use that pretty much anyone could do it, so looking pretty good to me. Normally these sponsor spots are pretty long, but I'm gonna save you guys some time. Private internet access, PIA VPN, go get it now at the link in the video description. It makes your internet browsing more secure and it's super affordable. Go, 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 go. So thanks for watching, guys. If you disliked this video, you can hit that button, but if you liked it, hit like, get subscribed, and maybe consider checking out where to buy the stuff we featured at the link below. This is gonna be really awkward because I think it's gonna be like in between the Kickstarter campaign and like actually fulfilling. Like you might not even be able to buy it, haha, oops. Anyway, also linked in the video description is our merch store, which has cool shirts like this one, and our community forum, which you should totally join. So James and I haven't really reached a consensus on why exactly it is we are doing this video. Do you mind grabbing an end? Oh wow, I don't need it. It's really not very heavy, but thank you anyway. He figures it's because,
Well, we keep doing all these cheap display videos.
yeah,
And then we were doing these Walmart videos.
yeah.
So why not just make a sandwich of those two?
You know what? Sure, let's go with that. So this is the 43-inch LED HD TV class, full class, and we are gonna find out how much does this thing cost?
I think 168 bucks. Some people have got it for 125 on clearance.
We're gonna find out if the 43-inch, $125 TV is worth $125.
If it even makes it to you alive.
Were you shaking your head? And this video is brought to you by Storyblocks. Storyblocks offers you studio quality stock video clips for a fraction of the cost. Check out Storyblocks at the link in the video description.
I think we should actually assess the shipping and packaging of this. It has a huge dent. It's possible that Tyler dropkicked this, but I don't think so.
I don't think he did.
And the reason I'm doing a concern is because inside there's really not a lot of extra packaging.
So not only is this a cheaper hard type foam, but this is cheaper among the hard type foam packing materials that I've encountered. Did you see the way that piece just came apart? Okay, can we do a video together with you not throwing
Absolutely
the
not.
subject of the video at me?
No, it's in my contract. There's nothing
Holy
in front.
crap.
There's nothing in front.
Small correction, just after mine and James's styrofoam fight to the death, we actually found that there is a little bit more protection on the panel side. There's this piece of cardboard. It weighs like nothing.
The spec sheet says 18.5 pounds, but it feels lighter, doesn't it?
Just because it's so big, it's like there's nothing in it. So there's our IR receiver on a little PCB there. There's our stereo speakers that I have, very high expectations for. I will say that cheap TVs have come a long way in terms of their I/O, or at least, I don't know, this one has. So it's got an audio pass-through, so if you have HDMI audio coming in from your cable box or your console or whatever, you can pass that through to your standalone speakers. Optical in or out, unclear at this time. And then you've got actually component in, as well as composite, and then you've also got three, actually.
3 HDMIs.
Count them. 3 HDMI ports, including one with audio return channel. So that's neat. Cable in.
What is this thing?
That?
Some kind of old people connector. And of course there's one USB port, which, I mean, it's nice to have, especially since this is not a smart TV. So if you want to have any smart TV features, you're gonna have to get like a Fire TV stick or a Roku, whatever they call theirs.
Yeah, so at least you can power something with it, even if you don't want to just load videos onto a USB thumb drive and plug them into your TV like my parents did until, actually I'm pretty sure they still do that.
It's got a base amount.
I mean, you could probably just double-sided tape it to the wall for how much it weighs. I mean, I'm kidding, don't do that, but like, holy crap. And that's even with a metal backing. Like, this isn't even a plastic backing. Like, the panel itself must just weigh nothing.
And it's not like it has an external power brick or anything either.
Wait, where's the stand? Are you
There you go.
That is not very impressive. Like, I sincerely hope this thing is decent, but this is one of the sort of issues that I take with low-cost electronics, is that because they have a very limited lifespan, both in terms of how long they're gonna just continue to work, and in terms of their features, and no real resale value, they tend to generate a lot of waste, it feels like, compared to higher end stuff.
It depends on who buys these things. If you look at their page, it looks like who they're targeting are the type of the people who actually are still using a CRT.
Did you guys see what just happened there?
On the description page, it says, is your TV 20 years old and blurry?
You are lying!
So I think this is like for Grandpa when he finally makes the switch, because his giant CRT is like just actually kicked the bucket after 25 years.
Woo! Yep. Team lift, hold on.
Wait, you think you could do it with one hand? Ha! No, did you hear that? I think we're okay. I don't think anything cracked, but yeah. you gotta have something to push against.
Oh man, this is great. Integrated button layout. They have this on here as though that's some kind of desirable feature. But instead of, can I power it on? Is it plugged in? Instead of a joystick configuration, it's this like orbiting configuration that just kind of feels like nothing to the back of your hand. And obviously you're not gonna leave this stupid sticker here. So you just have to kind of like guess.
This isn't even the good peeling peel. This is just like tape.
Yeah, it just feels like packing tape. It's just.
My joy is so robbed.
Oh, bottom one's not too bad.
This is like Lady and the Tramp. Oh.
I mean, at least it does have an included remote control.
Oh, I wasn't gonna show you that until later because I wanted you to struggle with the buttons on the back. People in the house, put your hands in the air. If you don't care, then we don't care.
We've got picture modes. Oh, it comes in eco by default. That's interesting. I wonder if that's part of their like good power efficiency ratings, that they just like dim the friggin' backlight out of the box.
Kind of makes sense because a lot of the reviews on Walmart's product page say how you absolutely must change it to dynamic picture mode.
Video or graphic?
That could be like an image retention thing.
Oh, you know what it might be? Is like a limited versus full range mode.
Maybe this will become more clear once we have a signal going through it and you can actually see how it changes.
So what sound mode are we supposed to choose?
Movie. Movie sound and dynamic picture is what everyone says makes it mint, I think.
All right.
If mint is like a flavor you detest, it's mint.
Voice guidance?
Voice guidance. On, volume, middle.
Please keep this
high,
on.
speed, standard, fast.
How do you like it?
Slow, low.
I feel like we're disabling Hal. Get it to sing Daisy.
Other setting.
It sounds so sad.
Audio, surround sound. Off.
Okay. All right. I'm done.
No signal.
Oh, let me help you with that.
Thank you.
HDMI 2 R. HDMI 2 R. 1080p 60HD.
So this was the
Hold on a second.
Menu open.
yeah.
The fact that you got signal. Okay, please don't interrupt me on. The fact that we got a signal is actually pretty nice because there's a lot of people in the reviews saying how they either connected to a computer and it didn't work, or they connected to a dongle and it didn't work, or all these different things. So,
Right.
so far I've connected this to an Amazon Fire Stick and a computer and it's worked. So, bless up.
Picture mode. Normal. Cinema. Wide.
So graphic is how you get rid of overscan. What? So no, it doesn't have to do with like limited versus full range black levels. It's how you do like just scan, like pixel, one-to-one pixel mapping instead of having it overscanned. It's been a while since I've looked at a 1080p display from this close.
It ain't great.
It's not a great experience. I remember there was this guy that I used to go to LAN parties with back when I had a life. I mean, sort of, I went to LAN parties. And I don't even think his was 1080p. And he was like, yeah, it's great. I'm like, yo, it's like measurably, like with a measuring tape, like not great. Display adapter properties, are these gonna come up? That's weird, I've never seen this fail to come up. Is that because it,
You have no properties.
is that Windows?
You're
or is
homeless.
that- They don't call it Windows for nothing. Here, have all the windows.
Windows 10. At least they're allowing you to close them in whatever order you want.
All right, so I guess probably like what, we want to watch some content on it, like. Really? We're gonna watch MKBHD instead of our own channel? You know what, fine, he's not gonna copyright strike us. So I guess this was your agenda here. You pulled up MKBHD because you figured, well, we want something with known good audio, and we can't always trust ourselves, so we can properly evaluate the speakers. Fine, I can take it.
You clicked on this.
He sounds like ass.
No offense.
Yeah, like, no offense, dude.
10 grand for that machine. The iMac Pro starts at
Somehow, it really does sound like it's coming from like under the table or something.
I was watching Infinity War yesterday on Netflix, and it was basically like everybody was in the bottom of a barrel.
But like it somehow doesn't sound like it's coming from here. It somehow sounds like it's coming from lower.
Let's watch a trailer.
This is a great, hold on, this is a great freeze frame of him. That's exactly my thoughts on this TV.
Come on, action.
I rewatched this recently. It was still good, I liked it.
Did you put it on movie mode now?
Let me check.
Volume 20.
Okay, no.
It's this.
Volume.
No, it's
Oh.
working.
Volume 100.
Oh, it just like glitched out.
You're gonna go to the menu, that's what you're...
Menu.
This might actually be worse. Like I can barely like make out the dialogue, even though this is like a trailer, and typically the dialogue is.
So I did some, I ran Calman, and I...
Can I do a subjective evaluation
Sure.
first? Do you see those? They look like weird artifacts in my eyes.
Oh.
Do you see that? Is that a compression issue with the playback, or is that the TV that is not handling darks very well? You can actually see the same thing in my mouth. I actually need to grab a laptop. No, that's not present on the laptop.
What do you think of just the colors overall?
I mean, they're not right, but they don't stand out to me as particularly terrible. There's not a lot of depth. There's some oversaturation going on in the default profile here at the very least. It's less noticeable in this kind of a dark scene, but here you can really see that's not a very natural look for me.
Dynamic.
Oh wow, that is really overdone. Sorry, people suggest this mode?
Yes.
That doesn't even look like wood. Why don't you pull up the results here? Okay, and this is in dynamic or standard?
This one's dynamic. Standard didn't fare too much better.
So to be clear, guys, a delta E of less than 2 is considered color accurate, with less than 5 being fine for consumer grade. This is anywhere from an average, it's an average of 12.6 and a maximum of 23. So we have dots here that are so far off their boxes, it's hard to tell what box that it went with. Color space, 97% of sRGB, is that right?
Yeah.
That's actually not terrible.
Should we play some games? Check out the input lag?
All right. Well, if we had any doubt that the scaler in it is a steaming pile of hot garbage,
Rezaumon. It's a Pokemon.
so we selected a fast-paced game to evaluate the TV's input lag because I could actually see this making a ton of sense for like just like a side room, like a den or something where you just play video games and it doesn't need to be the most cinematic.
Or
whatever.
kids, like a rec room for the console gaming.
Yeah, exactly. Now that's weird. Is this like
Sharpening.
an over sharpening artifact, or is this because of the low res? Like these
Like,
look
look at
like
the edges of these strands.
they look like a cheap stereo 3D effect or something because of how sharpened they are. Now, I had another idea. You know how I was saying that it was hard for me to tell if the issue was to do with just the low resolution. I haven't looked at a 1080p display from this close up in a long time. So we can figure out if it's sharpness or if it's low res by just adjusting it. And it was definitely,
That's right.
wow, that looks so much better. And the crazy thing too is like, yeah, text here too. Same thing, now I can make out the low contrast more easily now. Oh, that was probably the eye. No.
Yeah, it's still kind of there.
Yeah, it's still there. You know what though? Honestly, it's not that hard to tell. It's not bad. Like there's no game mode, and it's not amazing, but considering this is a 60 hertz display, this is very, very usable for sure. So really what it's competing with then is the Scepter model that was, how much?
230 bucks, so 50 bucks more.
And how big?
50 inches.
50 inches. Now with Scepter, we actually had pretty good luck with those guys when we did the cheapest 4K monitor on Amazon. That was a Scepter.
But we got a peach.
We got a good one, and from the reviews on Amazon, they're pretty hit or miss.
Lots of lemons.
So what would you do? Do you buy this one, turn the sharpness off, and enjoy the dynamic theater quality sound.
Oh yeah, you have to factor in an extra $70 for an entry-level soundbar just so you can hear dialogue if you're watching the evening news. So at that point, I think I would just spend the money and get a little higher, or if you want to cheap out, just get something used.
So we want to hear from you guys in the comments below. They both had kind of bad speakers and kind of bad color. This one had worse color. But do you take the Scepter 4K but smaller display that we featured last time, or do you take the 1080p 43-inch one, or do you just go used, or do you step up a little bit in the product stack? Do you want us to take a look at that Scepter 50-inch in the future? Let us know. We will be reading them because I think we are far from done with cheap displays. Can it run at 120 hertz? Like, can you overclock it? Did we try?
No, didn't try.
All right, well, that didn't work. But you know what does? Storyblocks. With Storyblocks, you can download all the stock video your heart desires from their member library, including HD and 4K footage, After Effects templates, motion backgrounds, and more. We use it quite a bit here on our Tech Quickie channel. Plus, you can get exclusive discounts on millions of additional marketplace clips where you save 40% on every purchase compared to non-members, and the original artists take home a commission on the sale price. All content is royalty free, so you can use it for commercial or personal projects such as YouTube videos or whatever else, and new clips are added regularly, so there's always something new to download. Check it out today at the link below to learn more. So thanks for watching, guys. If you disliked this video, you can hit that button, but if you liked it, hit like, get subscribed, or maybe consider checking out where to buy the stuff we featured at the link in the video description. James and I are sort of not really in agreement about whether you should or shouldn't, or whether this has any application whatsoever, but I think what we all agree on is that we should probably have a styrene fight to the death.
Grenade!
No! Oh, no! The joke's on him, though, because I knew that I wasn't going to be cleaning this up. This might appear to be a normal original Xbox. But what's inside it is far from normal. Now, lots of people have done PCs in an Xbox chassis before, and if we're being honest, the finish on some of those is better than what we've done here. But every other project we've found either compromised on the form factor, like adding more space to the bottom, or compromised on the performance, with most of them rocking a mid-tier gaming graphics card at best. Well, compromise is not the Linus Tech Tips way. We will settle for nothing less than the first Xbox with support for real-time ray tracing. Nothing less than the fastest Xbox ever. Getting all that performance in here wasn't easy though, so let's take a look at what it took to make our latest sleeper PC, Patrice. Brought to you by our sponsor, Madrina's. Madrina's Coffee blends specialty cold brew coffees into 15-ounce grab-and-go cans for everyone's convenience. Check them out and use offer code Linus to save 40%. We'll have that linked below.
So the very first thing we need to do is just make sure that everything that we have here fits. So we have this GeForce RTX 2070 from Zotac, and it should fit in. Like, I did some CAD, and everything fits in theory, but we have, I think, 3 millimeters of space on the side. So, wow, that's a really long screw.
For those of you freaking out, we got this Xbox in non-working condition for $10. So don't stress out about us destroying vintage gaming hardware. Disassembly was about what you'd expect. Inside, the Xbox One, not to be confused with the Xbox One, is basically a normal computer, with the majority of the internal space being used for a disk reader and a mechanical hard drive. Well, we won't be needing either of those anymore. Let's do a test fit. For this sleeper, we'll be using one of Zotac's epic mini graphics cards. In this case, an RTX 2070 and a Core i5 8400 6-core CPU. Now, compared to some of our other sleepers, Patrice's performance isn't as over the top, but we're working with a passively cooled HDplex power supply, and we wanted to save as much of our power budget as possible for the graphics card. Besides, we figured chances are anything more powerful would have thermal throttled anyway. It seems like everything will fit. We just need to make sure it all works together. And, more importantly, that our power supply is actually able to handle it all. So don't mind the mess at this stage. This is just for testing purposes.
Power there, short at the pins and... Oh, hello. Yeah, it's past test number 1, but we do need to get a monitor and keyboard and make sure that it's actually able to like run Windows and crap. So we got into Windows, no problem, everything's working, that's kind of expected. But the real test here is when I hit start, it might shut down, and if it does, we're gonna have to rethink the whole thing. So, so far so good.
How are you gonna get all of that stuff in there?
That's the thing I want to discuss with you. So, poorly is basically the answer.
Oh, that's not an answer.
Well, it kind of, so we can do two things. We can either have it be really powerful or look good on the inside. And I don't think there's a way to have both of those things.
Okay, sleepers, let's bring it back to cars, right? So sleepers have to look bone stock from the outside, that we agree on. And sleepers have to be just head-turningly fast off the line.
Yeah.
Is there any rule that says they have to be gorgeous inside?
No.
Then I guess we know what to do. You're gonna need ventilation holes on the bottom of the case.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, you're gonna need to cut away the bottom of the case.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. We might have to shave off a bit of this plastic shroud as well. In fact,
I think we just remove it.
Remove it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what's it even do other than look cool? Yeah, I think we need to go in that way. Then we have the perforation in the bottom. This thing shouldn't even overheat.
Perfect.
Perfect. Because we're gonna perforate. And that's my cue to exit.
Goodbye.
Our methods for CNCing sheet aluminum have improved significantly since our previous attempt in Margaret. We now have a single flute end mill and double-sided tape that doesn't gum up the bit, giving us excellent results. This means that we should end up with perfect mounting points for our hardware and much better rigidity compared to the paper-thin metal that's currently in here.
Off camera, I did a prototype bend with our little vice brake here, and it's...
We could just kind of go, yeah, good enough, but it's not good enough.
No. So we have a solution.
Okay.
I took the credit card, and we got a really big thing that's going over here. Do you want to come?
Oh, that kind of solution. Is this safe? How are you supposed to move these things? Oh, that's why you guys are all here. Okay. Okay. How much was this?
$800.
Oh, that's actually not as bad as I was expecting, just based on the weight.
Yeah, no, it was actually very on sale. We got a good deal.
I wanted to buy the $3,000 one.
All right, well then in that case, good work, Alex. All right, fun. Actually, this is not that bad with 6 people. Wait, so this countertop is gonna be basically unusable for like weeks, months. Who signed off on this?
You said you don't care. That's the actual quote of what you said about it. All right.
Okay, hold on. So you guys go ahead and come out. Why do you get the coolest toys around here?
Brandon also gets really cool toys.
That's true, but I think this one's cooler. And how do you pick the angle you want? You eyeball-immolate it?
Kind of eyeball it.
Okay, and then you unlock it down.
And then, boom. There you go.
You done bent some metal there, boy.
So for bending sheet metal, kind of the best way to do it is to use this, what's it called, blue layout die. And that lets you come in, you just cover it, it dries really fast, and you can scribe directly on it and get this super high contrast and also very precise line. We have a plan here that just tells us all of our dimensions, where the bends need to be. And also I've numbered each bend, because like if you bend, let's say number 6 before number 1, you won't be able to complete it because the bend will hit the rest of that as it goes around.
Since the part wasn't designed with this break in mind, a couple of the bends were pretty sketchy. But V2 got all of the critical dimensions correct and was miles ahead of the previous prototype, so we consider it a success. The next step was a test fit, and oh no.
Don't worry, Mr. Linus.
So it was at this point that we confirmed that the stock fans and shroud from our graphics card would need to be removed. While he was at it, Alex replaced the original thermal paste with some cryonaut, since we're gonna need all the help we can get when it comes to cooling. With our replacement liner prepared, the old liner was forcibly removed, and all of the old mounting needs to come out now with lots of dremeling, and oh, wow, that fits like a glove.
Now we have to make some holes for the motherboard and GPU there. Yeah, this is really the point of no return right here. Like the stuff on the inside, you can't tell, but if I screw this one up, geez, we're just done.
First, the bulk was removed with a cutting disc, then Alex brought it close with a grinding bit, finishing off with a file for a nice smooth cut.
So what's about to happen is not for the squeamish. So the DVI connector here, it goes in like this, and unfortunately it kind of interferes with where the power connector is going to be. 10 out of 10 would not recommend doing this to your GPU.
The now DVI connectorless card got blown out with compressed air to ensure that no metal shards would short it out. Then it was taped up and reassembled. But that actually wasn't the end of the carnage for this poor thing. The I/O shield needed to be first flattened out and then cut down to size to fit into the extremely small space we have for it. Next, all of the holes that we needed in the bottom of the case were drilled out, and a fan intake was cut into the bottom. A hole was added for the power connector, not because this is the best time for that step, but rather because we forgot to do it before. And then the sheet metal interior was ready to be riveted together. We're actually getting pretty close to final product here, so the blue layout die that was covering it was removed with acetone, and then our liner was given a coat of black paint. While that dried, the hole for the GPU I/O was created with the Dremel, and we were ready for a real test fit. Since the original GPU's fans ended up being too big, smaller ones were added using zip ties. Fitting everything in a case like this is difficult even with purpose-built parts. As for our machine, well, everything does have its place, but getting it in is another story. Like, the GPU is so close to the motherboard that even the I/O cover needed to be removed for it to all fit. But, lo and behold, everything did fit. Now it's just time to make sure that it all still works.
Oh, nice. Like it's showing up over there? Oh, wow. It just worked. I honestly wasn't expecting it to just work. I figured I'd have to do at least one little kajiggering. Damn! That's not the power button.
Look, I didn't have an Xbox, okay? That can be controlled, right?
Yeah.
Like that can be dialed back.
Yeah, if you want it to be full-blown sleeper, you can just be like, kabam.
Okay, is it supposed to be green?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm enjoying this. It's not especially quiet. I wouldn't describe it as crazy loud either, though. And the exhaust system that you've built, such as it were, does seem to be working. Like there's definitely warm air coming out. So let's see what kind of performance we can expect out of this thing. 130 to 160 FPS. Not bad! Get that glory kill, ba-ba, ba-ba. Oh yeah, you're dead. So we're seeing 84 degrees, 96% GPU usage though, so we're definitely hitting it hard. And then our core clock is here is in like the 13 high, 14 lows. Okay. So
Yeah, it's like right at base clock for the card.
should we hook it up in its new home?
Sure.
So right down here, guys, we've got the Xbox One X versus, you could call this like an X box. You know, it's got that X factor.
It's Patrice.
Patrice, sure. Apparently the One X runs at 60 FPS. What compromises are they making here? I mean, the Xbox One X is what? Like an RX 480 or something like that? Well, okay, so fine. The Xbox One X runs at a higher frame rate and is probably less buggy than the PC version. Okay, that was not smooth. Shut up!
You're in a field. There's like 4 trees.
Whee! Oh God. So this is a little overpowered for most like local multiplayer PC gaming experiences, isn't it?
Are you saying we should have put less power in it?
I'm saying the power we put in it might have been unnecessary. Oops. Oh no, I meant to put it down in my hand and I missed. This is just hard to watch. Oh, no way! How do you slide?
X, I believe.
Yep, that works. Okay, cool. I can't believe they saved that. They're better than us so far, but they're not very good. I can't find the ball. I legitimately have no idea where the ball is. Did they quit? We won! We're that bad, and we still won. This is gonna be awesome once we have this like all set up and everything. I mean, this aspect of it is basically good to go. Like we can plug wired controllers in from the front. We've got wireless Xbox controllers, so you can use any kind of controller you want. Because if someone wants a PS4 controller or whatever, they can just plug in a wire. Like, this is freaking awesome!
And it's so stealth.
It's our most useful sleeper ever. So we've got 1 terabyte of storage now, because we're using a 1 terabyte M.2 boot drive. But I suspect we're gonna wanna add a larger game library. I mean, the worst case scenario is we grab an external 4 terabyte hard drive and plug it into USB 3. Set resolution, just you can't set any other resolution. You know what? I bet if we just exit the game again and try again, like Rocket League, it'll just get its act together. This is like really not a great sales pitch for PC gaming.
It's really great after you go into like the file.
A config file and manually. I'm just seeing if it has that. No, I don't see an obvious way to. I doubt it. Oh, all right.
Oh heck yeah! There we go.
Okay.
You can't do this on a console.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to because it's a really, really bad experience, but 3840 by 2160, full screen. I bet I have to change that to true. Okay, let's just see if there's anything else we should probably change in here. That all looks fine. PC gaming.
Yay!
Yay. Find the parameters, change the parameters, and then, oh, it's time to go to bed. You missed out on your gaming time tonight. That looks better.
Yeah.
Damn it. Why is this necessary? Oh, that looks so much better.
Yeah, that was worth it.
Yes. Okay, campaign?
Yeah, sure.
I don't understand what weapon I have. Oh, I have a flamethrower. Oh, cool. Nice.
Okay, he's actually OP.
He is?
Yeah.
Oh, does it make a difference? Like, do all the guys have different weapons?
Yeah, they do.
Did you kill me? Did I die?
No, you killed yourself.
Why?
MacGyver throws dynamite.
Okay. Well, I didn't know. There you have it. We built the world's most powerful gaming Xbox. Take that, Microsoft. There were some anomalies with Forza, but we're gonna blame Microsoft for that. They stacked the deck in their favor. So all that's left then is to tell you about today's video sponsor. FreshBooks is the small business accounting software that's custom built for how you want to work. It's a simple way to be more productive, more organized, and to get paid faster if you're a freelancer or if you're self-employed. You can create and send professional-looking invoices in less than 30 seconds. You can set up online payments with just a couple of clicks to get paid up to 4 days faster. You can see when your client has seen your invoice to put an end to the guessing games. And, this is really cool, you can take the whole experience with you on the go with their fully featured apps for both Android and iOS. So don't take my word for it. Try out FreshBooks today. They offer an unrestricted 30-day free trial if you just go to freshbooks.com/techtips. We're gonna have that linked below. Just make sure you enter Linus Tech Tips in the How Did You Hear About Us section. So thanks for watching, guys. If you disliked this video, you can hit that button, but if you liked it for its sheer awesomeness, then go ahead, hit that like button, get subscribed, or maybe consider checking out where to buy the stuff we featured at the link in the video description. I mean, yeah, not this specifically, but like, I don't know, Zotac has super compact graphics cards, and we've used them for all kinds of cool stuff at this point. So you can go check those out. Also linked in the video description, our merch store, which has cool shirts like this one, and our community forum, which you should totally join.
We'll also put CAD files down there if you actually want to make one of these.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
nice.
Might as well.
Brofist! Rah! This game's pretty fun. We should play some more later. The Corsair 1 gaming system is basically like the Pistol and Halo Combat Evolved. It's small and understated and totally overpowered. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Linus, yeah, the one was pretty cool when it came out 2 years ago, but what has it done for me lately? How does it merit a re-review? Well, since you asked, although these two look very similar on the outside, the internals have actually gotten a complete overhaul. This one is rocking a liquid-cooled Core i9-9900K and a liquid-cooled RTX 2080 Ti. So let's find out how Corsair did that. After I totally derail everything to tell you about today's sponsor, Glasswire. Glasswire lets you instantly see your current and past network activity, detect malware, and block badly behaving apps on your PC or Android device. Use offer code Linus to get 25% off at the link below. Before we go any further, I need to talk about one area where Corsair totally dropped the ball here. See the fins here on the original model? They are slightly above the fan grill, meaning that when you stroke them, the one sings you this wonderful little tune. As for the new one, whole day ruined. But seriously, the build quality and design on display here is still fantastic. Every single part of it just feels so solid. And in my opinion, this machine just doesn't have a bad side. It looks great in basically any situation. From a professional studio where desk space is at a premium, to the computer room of a well-off gamer where the addition of RGB lighting is sure to impress children of all ages. Now, unless you have a particularly keen eye, the old one and the new one, which we'll be calling the Deuce from now on to avoid confusion, look nearly identical. The front I/O has been moved down and expanded. The headphone jack here is a very welcome addition, and the side actually has a bit of additional venting cut into it. But really, that's about it for now. Getting around to the back? Ah, okay. So now we're getting somewhere. The motherboard is clearly in a different place, and it looks like the position of the power supply has also changed. So let's dive in then and figure out exactly what's going on here. So pressing this button on the back allows us to remove the fan from the top. That's the one, right? So pressing this button on the back,
How are you doing this?
Okay. So pressing this button on the back allows us to remove the fan from the top here. You can see it's, there we go, now it's unplugged. It's 140 millimeters and takes care of the majority of the cooling, pulling air in through the radiators that you can actually see on either side here, and then exhausting it right up the top. In our testing, this results in nearly silent operation in many situations, and even under full load, the Deuce is shockingly quiet, with the 2.5-inch hard drive and the quiet water pump competing to be the loudest, or more like least quiet component. Removing these 4 screws then, that's a marker. Thought I had my screwdriver in my pocket, I don't. Removing these 4 screws then allows our sides to slide down. So here, 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 and here. This gives us basically unfettered access to the guts. So, with it open, we can see that there are 2 distinct thermal zones. So this radiator on this side provides up to 300 watts of cooling power for our GPU. And then this one over here, which is actually a little bit smaller, gives us about 165 watts for the CPU. Now, this dual zone design isn't new, but Corsair has actually flipped around which side the components are on. And one benefit of that change is massively better cable management. Like, let's start by looking at the GPU here. I love how they were able to get all of the cabling along the edge over here. See this? It's all tucked in there nicely, rather than just sprawling everything across the components. And as for the motherboard, well, you can see the improvement on the motherboard side immediately, because you can see the motherboard at all. And the tubing to the radiators has also been shortened, which is a surprisingly important improvement for anyone that might want to upgrade this machine in the future. In the past, when you were putting the one back together, it was really easy to accidentally kink the tubing, completely cutting off cooling to one of the sides. Not very user-friendly. Moving back to the GPU, we can actually see here that the water block is only responsible for cooling the GPU's core, with VRM and power management being taken care of by this actively cooled heatsink. This is actually not the first time I've seen a design like this. There were some older, they were called unisinks back when DTEC first did it. And you were expected to kind of like duct tape a fan to it. There was like no official way to do it, but it works really, really well. And there are a couple of reasons for that. One, it focuses all your cooling power on the GPU itself, where there's actually a performance benefit to be gained. And theoretically, if you're a true enthusiast, it's possible you'd be able to take it and then transplant it onto a future RTX 9000 or whatever the case may be, as long as you could figure out some way to deal with the memory and the VRMs. Now, we can't say for sure how easy that's gonna be, but we do know that compared to a full cover block that is specific to the card, there's a better chance you'd be able to reuse some of your components. What we can also say for sure is that we got some outstanding cooling results out of this setup here. In 3D Mark, the Deuce was expectedly within our margin of error for performance compared to an air-cooled card, with the temperatures leveling off in the high 70s after 45 minutes of gaming. So what that means is that you might not have a massive amount of headroom for overclocking or anything, but it also means that you can expect full boost clocks indefinitely while your system remains quieter than basically any air-cooled card, let alone an air-cooled card in a tiny chassis like this. Moving over to the other side, I feel like I have to bring this up again, how impressive the improvements in cable routing are compared to the old model. Routine upgrades will be significantly easier this time around. There's not a ton that you can upgrade out of the box, since our config is already loaded for bear. Both RAM slots are populated for a total of 32 gigs. The single 2.5-inch drive bay is occupied by a 2 terabyte hard drive, and the 480 gig M.2 SSD is located on the back of the motherboard, which is probably actually easier to access by pulling off the graphics card. But the really interesting thing over here is the CPU radiator, which is actually smaller compared to the outgoing model. This allows the compact 600 watt power supply to pull in fresh air from the outside rather than recycled warm air from inside the system. So that means that it can actually operate much more efficiently, which contributes to the overall quietness of our machine. And then back to the size here, Corsair claims that they actually managed to increase the cooling capacity since the new layout has a smaller rad, but one that allows more air to be pulled through it. So let's see how that works out for them. Actually, looks like it's pretty well. So our Core i9 9900K stayed right at a blistering 4.7 gigahertz in games, even after giving it plenty of time to heat up the coolant. And our temperatures managed to hold comfortably around the mid-70s. Under a full synthetic load, you will end up sacrificing some clock speed, dropping down to about 3.8 gigahertz on all 8 cores, but that's actually what we expect from this CPU when Intel's power draw specifications are followed, and it is an absolute beast. So once again, in the SpecView Perf productivity test, the Deuce throws up numbers that are nearly identical to what we saw from our open air test bench, with the only real downer for productivity being the lack of an option for 10 gigabit Ethernet, which, if we're being honest, is a must-have for professionals that are working with large, heavy files like the 8K red footage that we deal with around here. Overall though, the story remains the same. The Corsair One is able to give you the performance of a top-of-the-line gaming system in a compact package while somehow managing to remain quiet, cool, and sexy. But of course, with great design comes great cost. And that really is the biggest downside of the Deuce, which starts at $3,000 for the i140, with the better equipped i160 that we've got here weighing in at an eye-watering $3,600 US. So, let's put it aside for a second and change the subject a little bit. This is the MSI Trident X. It isn't liquid cooled. The build quality is fine, but not exceptional. It's bigger, it gets a bit louder under load, and it has half the RAM. But it also reaches a similar level of gaming performance and costs $1,000 US less. And it gets worse for the One. In Corsair's own lineup, you'll find the Vengeance gaming PC that we reviewed recently. Now it does step the performance down a touch, but you still get a 2-year warranty and you save $600, not to mention that there's better upgradability. And that's ignoring the option of building your own PC, which I guess puts me in sort of an awkward position, doesn't it? Because the Deuce gives me like a great big nerd-rection, and I think a world where everybody had one of these would be a better world, and Corsair deserves fat stacks of cash for the engineering work, not to mention the design work that has gone on here. It's just that at this price, you do need to have some serious disposable income to drop on your Deuce. Speaking of disposable income, you don't need a lot of it for private internet access VPN. PIA hides your true IP address and allows you to bypass geo-restrictions and censorship by making you appear as though you are connecting from somewhere else. It helps prevent attacks by blocking unwanted connections, it auto-blocks all traffic if the VPN disconnects, and it comes with all kinds of great features, including Mace, PIA's built-in malware blocker. PIA supports multiple VPN protocols and encryption levels, letting you dial in the exact level of protection you need. They've got apps for Windows, Mac, Android, iOS, Linux, and a Chrome extension, and they've got over 3,000 servers in 33 countries, and they don't log user activity. So what are you waiting for? Check them out today at lmg.gg/PIA-2. We'll have that linked below. So thanks for watching, guys. If this video sucked, you know what to do. But if it was awesome, get subscribed, hit that like button, or check out the link to where to buy the stuff we featured in the video description. Also linked in the description is our merch store, which has cool shirts like the one I'm wearing, and our community forum, which you should totally join.
Hello, and welcome to the first and possibly the final installment of what I'm calling James Tries Stuff for the First Time. Today, I'm gonna use whatever tools I can find just laying around to make the most pointless PC gaming setup possible. Hey look! What are these doing here? 3 49-inch 32x9 gaming monitors. Each one of these is designed to be an elegant, standalone solution for achieving both the productivity and gaming benefits usually reserved for double or even triple monitor setups. But hey, I'm super naive. Why not connect all 3 of them to create a 180-degree semicircle of pixel paradise?
Builds.gg is at it again with the stock cooling showdown. Up to $4,000 and hardware prizes are up for grabs for the most highly voted systems and for people who simply vote. Click the link below to join.